Joe, who does a ERV thing, he just lays down and talks. The other people trained by Ingo Swann, and they have this very complicated structure to do their remote viewing. And so I had 6 of those, I think maybe 5. And then we had a couple of people who kind of did their own thing. And this was 10 years after. That's why I call it Project 8200, because it was 1973 when Pat Price did this. And then Puthoff gave me the material here after, in his opinion, things quieted down out there and people weren't talking about this anymore. So he handed me these and see if I would run challenge targets on them. And so the Project 8200 is those challenge targets of asking Stargate remote viewers, giving them coordinates to go to and have them describe what's there.
And so these bases, were they part of the challenge targets?
That I gave them the coordinates that Price had said, this is where I was looking. So I took those coordinates and I told them to go look at these different coordinates and see what they found there. The Stargate remote viewers.
So before we get into what they saw, what did Pat see at these bases?
He described them as inside areas where 4 different kinds of groups of people who had different duties had inside places, that they were inside these mountains.
What do you mean 4 different types of people? Races, genders? What are we talking here? Just different projects that they're on?
Yeah, these 4 bases had different stories. I can read them to you what they were. They had different jobs that they did in 4 different bases. And so he would talk about, well, I'm going to go over to Mount Nyangani now, and I'm going to look at Mount Hayes. And so this is another thing that we talked about before. He just would go to this place as, well, this is very interesting over here in Mount Perdido, but I think I'll go back up to Hayes. And then his thing would change. And we had to go through the transcript very carefully. Where's he supposed to be talking about now? And then going back to the discussion we had a minute ago, how did he know which one to go to and might be more interesting and so forth? And that's just in the back of my mind now, so to speak. Silly the way I talk one way one time and say, then in the back of my mind, which I know it's not